Hey guys, this is Bruce. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a live on Convocourses. So we're going to do this. I got some stuff to cover, some questions to answer, and let's get into it. So we're going to talk about the job I did before I went to information systems and information technology and cybersecurity. We're going to talk about racial issues in IT. Are there any? What's going on with that? I'll just tell you my experience with it, if any. And then we're going to do a review of some resumes that I got. Removed the names of the people who gave me the resumes, but I want to do a live breakdown of a couple of these before I send it out to them. Okay, so now if you didn't know, this is the first time you're seeing me. I've got courses where I walk you through how to get into cybersecurity, how to do risk management framework, how to do information system security officer work, how to get six figures in it, how to do your resume. And those are all on convocourses.com if you're interested. Now, somebody asked me a while ago, what job did I do before I went into cybersecurity and IT? The job I've done before, and I've talked about this if you've been watching me for a while, is I used to be a cop. I was a cop for 5 years, and I did security and I did law enforcement. So that begs the question, what do I think about what's going on right now? As a black man in America who used to be a cop, who knows law enforcement and security, physical security, what do I think about this? It is, and this isn't, what I'll say is that this isn't new. Like, this has been going on since I was a kid, as far as unarmed black men getting shot. It's been going on. Police brutality has been going on. All that stuff. And from me, as a professional who used to be in law enforcement, it's kind of like, if you've ever had a profession, just try to put you in my mindset. You're a professional at something, right? You are an expert at something. It's kind of like when you see somebody messing up something that you know how to do, and that's what it feels like when I watch those videos, like the George Floyd video and the Breonna Taylor story and the recent one in Atlanta for that happened at Wendy's. When I'm seeing the law enforcement techniques that they're using and stuff, it's so obviously wrong. It's not how it was taught. Like them shooting people in the back. It's like, what? Why did they? Was he a threat? If he's running in the opposite direction, he doesn't have a gun. Why are you shooting him in the back? It's not how I was taught in law enforcement. So it's like really, it's so obviously wrong and illegal. It's murder in a lot of those cases. Not all. In most of the cases, I would say that I've seen, the ones that go international and stuff, those ones are, when I look at it, I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like, and then what's worse is that the police department will back up this terrible behavior. They'll back it up, and then nothing happens to the offending officer. And I'm like, man, what is happening? I don't know how to explain what is going on. All I can say is it's just like the chief master sergeant I think the sergeant major of the Army said. He said, we have a racial problem in this country. And I think that maybe that's it. Some of the police officers, people who are given a badge and a gun, should not have been given a badge and a gun. That's for sure. But also it's the policies, the policing, how their behavior doesn't make any sense. We were taught use of force and a lot. And so the way that they escalate all the way to lethal force is it just doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can say is maybe these guys had a bias or they're racist against black men in particular. I don't know how else to explain it, but I don't know if you don't follow it. Like, I follow it very closely, but there's definitely white people are getting shot. There's Asian people have been shot. Latino people getting shot. They don't have proper training, and I don't know what they're teaching them, but it's not right. So that's my thoughts on it. Yeah, it's a hard job. I'm not sitting here trying to hate on cops. I think it's a really hard job. I think most cops are good. Out of the probably 50 times I've been stopped, nothing's happened, knock on wood. But I know that it does happen because it happened to my mom, happened to my best friend, happened to my sister, happened to her, like in a case I was involved with, as a matter of fact, which I'm not going to go into it here, but a cop basically harassed my sister. So yeah, it's definitely bad, and hopefully we Americans will do something, take action, and do something legislatively to change policing habits. And other than that, I don't know what to say about it. It's definitely wrong, and we have to change it if we're going to continue to be a people. Somebody says, a black woman looking to move south for opportunities. It's definitely getting even scarier to consider moving to the States. Yeah, it is. For all the opportunities we have, we definitely have a problem in the U.S. There is a definite racial problem. There's like, what it is, I think, is that, this is just my personal opinion, is that racists are allowed to just do whatever the hell they want to black people in particular. And I don't know. I really hope we can change it, but to be honest with you, I don't know. I'll give you this. If you want some positivity about the U.S. and moving south or moving to the U.S. or whatever, as a black person, I was encouraged recently. I went on one of those marches here that we have local in Denver, and I was blown away. There were more white people there than any other people of color. They were young. They were excited. They were marching for change. They were shouting out George Floyd's name. They were shouting out Black Lives Matter. It almost brought me to tears, man. These younger people are amazing. I'm so impressed by them, and it's awesome. It was awesome to see. They've changed several laws here locally, so hopefully that trickles to other states. And is racism real? Like, as a black person, it absolutely is. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Are there still great things in the U.S.? Absolutely, there's great things, but one of the bad things in the U.S. is definitely the racial component, how they just kind of allow these racist people to do whatever the hell they want. Which brings us to another subject that I'd like to talk briefly about, is there racism in IT and how they treat black people or people of color, but black people in particular, how do they treat you in IT? And I can only tell you from my experience. I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's no racism in information technology or cybersecurity or whatever. There's racism everywhere. I have not had a direct, in-your-face confrontation with racism. Normally, the companies that I work for have a pretty good culture that is really looking out for minorities, really looking out for women's rights and health issues, and then they're really looking out for people of color and minorities, and they don't want to isolate any part of their workforce. Racism doesn't help their bottom line, in IT anyway. So they usually have a pretty good culture, and they're really upfront with you about, look, you do not say this, you do not do that, you do not, here's your job, here's how you talk to people, stuff like that. And in my job, it's super important to know how to talk to people in all walks of life. Old people, white people, Asian people, people from other countries, people with attitudes, all kinds of people. So they're trying to have, the diversity really helps them out, because let's say you have a black client, and they might send a diverse team to that client to show, hey, our company embraces this. We want your business. We welcome your business. We want your money. You know what I mean? So IT, I haven't experienced it. I have been passed up for different roles, and I don't know what that was all about. I'd be like the senior person there. I'd be there longer than everybody else, and then I noticed they would hire a new person, and then that person would be like doing. They would give that person this other amount of work, but normally it wasn't. It wasn't a pay bump. It was just more responsibilities. I'm like, that's okay with me. So, and I'm not a corporate kind of person anyway, so I don't really. I don't play the whole rank stuff. Like, I don't care about that. I only care about getting the job done, and luckily, in IT, most companies in our information technology, in cybersecurity, they just want to get the mission done, and that's the most important thing. And so your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, your nationality doesn't matter as long as you can get the job done. So there's some cases where it does matter, and that's as far as your nationality, and that's if you're doing clearance jobs, for obvious reasons. Like if you're from Kenya and you're working for the government of Kenya, are you gonna have to have a Chinese national looking at state secrets? Like, it's not cool. Proprietary information that maybe they want to take back to their own country. That's the whole mentality behind having nationals work those kind of sensitive jobs. But that said, you can still do jobs like if you're a risk management framework. That's not all federal. Some of those are state jobs too. So just to summarize, I personally haven't had any direct gross racial stuff happen to me in IT. In the military, yeah, I did. I totally did. When I was a cop, yeah, stuff happens when you're a cop. Like, so there's some racial stuff that happens, people getting their feelings and stuff. But it's one of the reasons I like IT is that it's so pure. It doesn't deal with people's emotions. It doesn't deal with all of these different elements in our society that we have to work out, hopefully together. It's just like, does this thing work or doesn't it work? That's it. It's pure, and that's one of the things I love about information technology and cybersecurity, and that's why I've done it for so long, because I'd rather focus on a system, and I'd rather get stuff done. So that's just how I feel about it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, you can feel free to email me, talk to me personally, and about any of these issues. All right, so we talked about that. Okay, I had some questions. People want me to review their resumes. So what I've done here is I have arranged a couple of fake. Well, these aren't fake. Like, this is an actual resume, but what I did was I stripped out. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. So I changed the email and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I am going to rip through this thing and I'm just going to put what has worked for me, and you can follow along. And I'm hoping that this maybe shows you like little tips and tricks you can use for your own resume. So I promised these 3 different resumes, so I'm going to go ahead and look them up live here. So I'm just looking through this one from Nick Cage. He's got the professional summary here, and let's just kind of glance through the whole thing, and then we'll just kind of circle back around and see what we can fix. I'm seeing some things right off the bat I would fix, but let's just kind of skim through it. He says, as a professional summary, he's saying cybersecurity student with a proven customer service experience with the following technologies: software. He breaks it down by software, which is Windows 7, Windows 10, Mac OS, and yada, yada, yada. Hardware, replacement of hard drives, RAM, batteries. Okay, so he's got some basic A+ skills or experience. Networking, set up a home network and router. Okay, I wouldn't say. All right, the TCP, we'll wrap back around on this. So it's a pretty green dude, I think. And just from reading this, I'm thinking my first impression of this guy's really, really new. What grabbed me was this: setting up a home network. I wouldn't put that personally, but we'll fix that. Okay, software, Active Directory, Linux, CRM, ticketing systems such as this, and that. All right, he's got Wireshark in there. Cool. He is working on he or she is either working or has a degree. No, it doesn't look like it. Western Governors Cybersecurity Assurance Seniors Club. Okay, didn't list a degree here. Okay, well, we'll fix that hopefully. And then let me see, courses completed, and lists a whole bunch of courses completed, some certifications that he's gained: A+ in Network Plus, Security Plus. Pretty good, solid certifications for a new dude. And then here's some of the experience. Responsible for working with desktops, laptops, printers, yada yada yada. Strong troubleshooting involving hardware, looking on registers, testing, BIOS. All right, so it's a lot of like help desk type stuff with Insight Global, and he's done that since into 2019. So it's got a few months of experience. All right, we can improve this. There's not a lot of experience here. Right off the bat, first impression is that this is an extremely new person, and I'm having to sort through their skill set. I don't know if they have a degree yet. I don't know what they really want. It's kind of all over the place. So what we're going to try to do is make this more targeted. And he's got a good first start because he's got some experience, which is good. But we want to highlight the actual experience on specific software and hardware. There's a lot of fluff until you get to the meat. The meat is always the experience. So we want to thin this out, is what I would want to do, is bring this down. I would want to bring the top stuff to the front. There doesn't look like he has a degree yet. So, okay, I see. October 2021. All right, I see. And so, all right, so there's no degree, but there is an A+ and there's a Security Plus. Oh, he's pursuing the Security Plus. Okay, but he has an A+ and a Network Plus that he recently got. Okay, I could work with this. So first things I would do, these are all just suggestions, by the way, is I would put Security Plus. That's the reason why I put it up here, is this is his top certification. And I want that to be highlighted. This is bothering me. LinkedIn, TTP, Convocourses, or whatever. You would just put the link in there, right? So let's just do that. Whoops. Convocourses.com. Okay. There we go. And then this first part, like I said, you want to get really straight to the meat. And this is kind of like watered down to me. Like this is not how I would put it. I just feel like there's a waste. Because the reason why I say that, like, you got to get straight to the point. Like when they're looking through your resumes, they're looking through hundreds of resumes. So you got to grab their attention and tell them, look, here's my top hitting stuff right here. Here's what I do. Get to the point. Move on. Just get to the point. Like, have keywords, key phrases all throughout your document. So I'm going to take a crack at this. Right. So let me turn on suggestions so I don't ruin anything. And I would say, okay, cybersecurity student with proven. So I would not put student. Another thing is going to the top. I'm going to say cyber. What I normally do is I put a title on the header. And the reason why I do this, is that I want them to know right away what I want to do. Cybersecurity, like, what's my goal right away? Cybersecurity, this person is like a associate. Like a more accurate, I would spell associate wrong. A more accurate view of who this person is probably help desk professional. So there's a couple of ways that he could take this. He can do this, right? And this is actually more accurate and this is more targeted because his experience lends itself to this, security professional. So if I was Nick, what I would do, the first thing is I would get a help desk. I would get more experience with help desk as a help desk professional. And if I wanted to focus on security, I would, anytime I did anything with security, I would put it on my resume, and I'll show you what I mean as we go forward. This first part, I want to get straight to the point. I don't want to say student. I would say something like help desk / customer support specialist. Now I may spell some stuff wrong, but we're going to go back through and do like a spell check. So with a focus on cybersecurity. So why did I say this? Okay, because this is literally what he has done, what Nick has done. So you could hit the ground. Nick could hit the ground running with just this experience right here as a help desk person. So we're focusing on stuff that we can get, jobs we can get. If we say, I want to be a cybersecurity, I want to be a forensics expert or something like that, and I put it right here, that's like saying, I want to be a doctor. I'm a doctor. I'm a PhD, and I'm a medical surgeon or whatever. Like you got to put what is within your reach. You know what I mean? So that's why I put this here. And help desk professional, I think, well, he could hit the ground running in a job like this, because I can see some of the exposure to certain technologies and stuff, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to say professional summary is help desk support specialist with a focus on cybersecurity. And then we can like list a couple things. With a strong, okay, I don't know why it's like still marking my stuff out here. Could say IT professional with experience with not to but with the following experience with the following. Okay, and we'll just name a few things. We'll just say here's what we'll do. And I want to get rid of software, hardware, and just list everything out. This is what I would do. Just list everything out. And the reason why I do this is because if they're reading if they're just like skimming through my resume and they're going through hundreds of resumes, I just want to hit it fast, right? And if Nick goes further and puts this stuff I'm writing here into and uploads it into a search engine, a job search engine, or a job aggregator such as CareerJet or LinkedIn or any of these other job platforms, all of these are keywords. These now become keywords. And so now I'm just replacement of hard drives, RAM, batteries. And I will go back through and clean all this up. I know how in my head I want it to look. Essentially, I want to get rid of these and have all of this as a line right underneath that first statement we made about being professional, IT professional with experience in the following, and then it's going to list all this stuff. That's what I would do. All right. Just to keep it concise, straight to the point, and all that kind of stuff. I want to clean this up. It's looking really bad here. I normally, when I change your resumes, this is my process here. But, okay, what did it just do? It just deleted my words. Oh, okay, I see what I did wrong. We're going to say IT professional with experience with the following. this is kind of how I wanted it. But you get the idea. So let's keep it moving. This will list all that stuff out. Now, education. All right. So this one, okay, I think that this is again, it's just taking up too much space. None of these are good keywords. I wouldn't do this. I'll use these as a reference, but I'm deleting all this. What I would do if I was him is I would just say, hey, I'm getting a bachelor's degree, information and assurance, bachelor's degree, and then there you go right there. And then I'm just going to delete the rest of this stuff. I don't need any of this. Certifications, this is a good one. I think this is well done, pursuing. Another thing to consider is no, this is good. Oh, he doesn't have a Security Plus. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll say top certification is A+. We'll do this. We'll say A+. This is your strongest thing, so that's why we're putting it up here. A+. CompTIA A+. And then we'll just make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, now we're getting into the meat. This is where this is pretty weak. And I would completely change this. Positive thing is that you're working at Insight Global, so that's a good place to start. What is wrong with this? It's like 3 sentences. It's run-on sentences. It's a list of stuff. You want hard-hitting. One of the things they taught us in the military when I got out of the military was we had a transition assistant program, and it was, to this day, it's helped me. And I've been out for like 15 years. And they broke down how you put an impact statement in the resume. And that's the best way to do it, because it just gets straight to the point of what you've done. They don't have to read a paragraph. I mean, granted, you can do that, and I have done that in my resumes before, but that's one way to do it. And if you're gonna do it, like, these are not good. The way it's put together is not good. So I'm just gonna give like a couple examples here of what I would do differently here. So let me just do this. Okay, it's kind of, let me scroll up so you guys can see what I'm typing here, what I'm getting at. All right, so I'm just gonna do like a couple bullets. Let me just kind of get into this one. It says responsible for working with desktops, laptops, printers, point of sale, registers, and servers. So you're not telling me like what you're doing with the laptops, printers, and point of sale devices. So that's really vague. What I would do is how could you put this? All right, you got to put what you did, right? I'm going to bulletize it. And I'm going to say lead, or maybe you didn't lead it. Assisted lead customer service rep. I'm just making stuff up, but I just want to get you a feel of kind of what kind of language you're using. You're being extremely specific. You're using professional language, and then you're telling the impact of what you did specifically on a desktop, laptop, and or printer, point of sale device, whatever. That's what I'm doing here. Assisted lead customer service developer in troubleshooting what kind of point of sale device? Not just a point of sale, troubleshooting troubleshooting a Quicken 345 point of sale device. Assisted customer lead customer service developer in troubleshooting Quicken 345 point of sale POS devices. Let's say that there's multiple devices. That's what you want to do. Okay, so let me just explain why I did this. I mentioned the specific type of point of sale device. The reason I did that is because that's going to be a keyword when you upload this into LinkedIn or into those other sites. Another thing is what the recruiters are looking for when they're looking through your resume is they're looking for keywords and key phrases. So we're looking, you having worked on this point of sale device, you'll know exactly what that point of sale device is. So you would want to put that here, whatever. I just made this up. I don't know what kinds of point of sale devices I could put here, but last one I worked with was like a Quicken one that we installed. So that's the idea behind this. And what did you do? You troubleshot it, right? So right away they know that you know how to work with this type of point of sale device. You know how to fix them, and they're having problems in, say, Walmart or Safeway or whatever to do this, right? So there you go with that one. Another thing you can do is say updated. Let's say, whoops, I lost my spot here. Whoops, dang it, what am I doing? Okay, we're gonna say updated Windows 7 systems, Windows 7 workstations to Windows 10 professional. Updated, let's say how many? 300 Windows 7 workstations to Windows Pro within let me see what else we could say. I mean, we could just stick with just that. Updated 300 to migrated. Let's say migrated 300 Windows 7 workstations to. That's pretty good. It's showing that you know how to migrate Windows 7 and you've done it 300 times. I think that's pretty powerful. A secure version. Okay, this is good. To Windows 7. And then we could say Windows 10. We could say something like created a secure configuration for Windows 10 endpoint devices. Applied, which was applied. Oh man. Okay. Sorry guys, I got a call from my significant other. Okay. So where were we? 10 endpoint devices with which was applied to 300 systems. 300, let's say, financial systems. I don't know. Financial systems. So what I'm doing here, okay, let me explain. Let me break this down. I'm going through everything he says he's done here, and I'm ripping it apart. He's saying desktops, laptops, printers. What kind of printers? What kind of laptops? How many desktops and laptops? What did you do on said laptops and or desktops? You have to explain each thing you did in that environment. And also, while you're doing that, you're using keywords. Like, I know, having been in help desk, the endpoint device is a term that is used quite a bit. I know that workstation is a term that's used quite a bit. So if somebody is looking for a help desk customer service person, they're going to be looking for words like that. Migrations, they're looking for Windows 10 support, Windows 7, certain kinds of points of sale devices. You get the idea. So I'm going to take Nick's this whole thing and I'm going to keep breaking it down and give him suggestions, and I'm going to send it back to him. But in the meantime, let me show you a different resume. This is for David P. And okay, hold on. Before I go further, I got some questions here. It says, do you mind giving some practice project for risk management framework? That's actually not a bad idea. I actually thought about doing that when I was going to do, I was going to use like Teachable. Is it Teachable? Skillshare. Yeah, Skillshare has something like that where you can break down and give people practice projects. Not bad. I'll think about that one. Kiko Rose. Let me give some thought about that one. Spade says, would you mind sharing contact information again at the end of your live? I'll actually share it right now because I'm going to be talking for a bit. So that's my contact info right there if you're interested in getting with me. And just so you know, that's the email I check for this kind of stuff. Another thing is Convocourses is where you can go and get additional courses. There's free stuff in there as well. Sometimes you can sign up for something that's paid and then access the free stuff that's in the paid enrollment. And then I've got a site where I'll put like jobs and things like that come up that don't really fit into this format and don't really fit on the courses. So I'll put stuff over there in addition to some of the videos I do here on YouTube. So check that out. But another thing I should tell you is that the people who I'm going through their resume and I'm working with them directly and stuff, and sometimes even we'll talk on the phone, these are people who paid for a course. All right. Every now and then I'll do an extra one like for vets or something, even if they didn't pay or anything. But it takes that much extra time to sit down and have one-on-one. So that's why I only do it for people who actually pay for the course. But that said, I will answer any questions. If it's a quick question, it's no problem. You don't necessarily have to buy a course, And really, sometimes I just feel like doing it, so I'll just do it for free. So don't even worry about it. Just send it. If you have any questions, just send it. All right. So check this out. This is names have been changed to protect the innocent. And this person, I think, had a special request. Let me just review their previous email. Whoa. They had a special request, and I will go through that as we go. Okay, let's do this. They said that this is their objective. I'm looking to be gainfully employed as in an information security roles. Always double check your spelling. You don't want to misspell stuff on these things. Let me put editing on just so I can track my own changes. I'm currently attending Western Governors University in pursuit of a master's degree in cybersecurity and information assurance. See, this is okay to put in the beginning of LinkedIn. You know how LinkedIn has that little blurb where you can kind of talk about yourself. I would save this. I would keep it. That's cool. But I think it's more hard hitting to just put just straight up keywords in there, like as much as possible. And he's got some in here, so I'm not saying this is bad, but in my resume, I like to actually get to the point. This is actually not bad. He's mentioned a lot of good stuff here, like I'm currently working for Dell, customer support arrays, obtain my. Yeah, actually, this is pretty good. I would keep this. It's got CEH, it's got CISSP, it's got Dell EMC, which I know is a good keyword. It's got storage arrays, like it's got good stuff. So I would keep this actually. Skills is really going to be good for the when you're actually uploading this into the different job databases and aggregators. So I usually put this at the end because I'm trying to put my heavy hitting stuff all in the beginning of my resume. So that's why I usually put skills at the end. That objective is good. I like it. And I would just put, yeah, okay, this is good. Masters. So this is misspelled. Like you gotta double check it, do misspell. Myself, I have a resume that got me tons of jobs and it had misspellings in it. But I just imagine how many more jobs I would have had if I not misspelled some things. So reread it, proofread your own stuff, and then also double check the spelling. Okay, let's keep going here. The ITT, Murray, okay, this is actually really good stuff. Already has a bachelor's degree. I would put like the job. We'll come back. We'll circle back around here. All right, so on the job, okay, he's got some really solid experience. I like this. This is looking really good, actually. Looking really good. Really, really decent resume, just having skimmed through it. But let's see. Let's just take this first one and see if we can fix this up and get some tips on what I personally do to spruce it up and to get more of a IT information security background, if that's what we're aiming for. General summary. Okay, so he's telling the role is Dell EMC2 technical support engineer. That's pretty cool. Regularly provides technical support expertise in a complex information infrastructure environment with the need to integrate EMC products and systems with other EMC and non-EMC computer systems being operated by the customer. All right, so again, what I like to do is just get straight to the point. What I mean to say by that is that's a really long sentence. I just want, in one sentence, I want to have impact on the person reading it so that they know you did X. You did X with B. You know what I mean? You did X with Y. Okay, so let's see. How can we break this sentence down? This is all over the place. It's not all over the place, but we need to condense it to where it has more impact with less words. Regularly improves technical support expertise in a complex. Okay, this is a lot. This is very wordy. With need to. After reading it, I still don't know what he's done. So I just want to just have impact. That's going to be the goal here. To integrate EMC products with systems with other EMC, non-EMC computer systems. Okay. Here's what we can do. We'll say something like done integration from EMC to non-EMC. So let's just make a sentence like, here's what I would do. I'm going to use his sentence and we're gonna bulletize it, and we're gonna say integrated EMC products, Dell EMC products, which is a keyword. And then actually you probably want to say the specific products and break it out. Like you say, he's saying products, so that implies that there's more than one. Which products? Is it SANS systems? Is it okay, I just lost my place. Okay, there we go. SAN storage and with IBM Brocade switch. For local area network systems. For local area network. For enterprise, I'll just say enterprise system. Enterprise. For organizations, for the organization's enterprise. Enterprise meaning like their whole network. And I don't know how much of this is true. I'm just trying to give examples of how you could word this in such a way that it speaks to the impact you did and it gets straight to the point. That's the name of the game. Less words, straight to the point, one sentence, hit them right in the mouth right away. So they know right away so this is too vague. Non-EMC computer systems. You got to be specific. Like what products, Dell products worked with what? What did you integrate? And that does two things. It's specific enough to tell the technical recruiter or whoever's going to hire you exactly what you know. They know you've worked with IBM Brocade. They know that you work with Dell. And I'm just making stuff up, guys. Like I don't know if there's an IBM Brocade. I know that I worked on a Brocade switch before, but I don't remember like what vendor was behind the Brocade. I'm making stuff up. I just want to give you an idea. Anyway, so you want to be specific so that they know exactly what you've done with what, and you want to be concise so it's straight to the point. So that's what we're trying to do here. So that's one example there, and I owe him a whole thing here. So I'm gonna actually sit down and go through this whole thing and give him pointers and stuff, and then message him back. But here's another one I would like to do real quick, and I'm just going to spend a little bit of time with this before I answer some questions that I got going on. And this one is from a vet, Jim, aka Vet. And I really like the way he's done this. Cybersecurity analyst, he's got his name, he's got his LinkedIn page and stuff. And then he's got a profile, says self-motivated, mature professional with, a proven ability to learn new skills quickly, history of improving process, validating systems, ensuring. Okay, I would put more keywords in here. I would get rid of the quote. A hard worker is always willing to take on new tasks. All right, I would get rid of that. Maybe you could put that on your LinkedIn page or something like that, but we want to get straight to the point. We want a hard hitting, and the only way I would do this is it would just all be hard hitting stuff that I've done. And I don't know what to put here until I've read through the rest of this. But what I want to emphasize on this one, this is coming from a military person, and this I have a lot of very specific skill sets in because I had to make the same transition that this person had to make. And the biggest transition for vet, if you're a vet, you're trying to get into cybersecurity, and you have to make that transition, whether by separation in a year or two, or retirement. And you've done IT stuff, you've done risk management, you've got all the experience. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the civilian world uses different language than the military world. The military uses lots of acronyms that everybody's supposed to know, but the civilian world is not going to know what these acronyms are. So you have to translate some of that stuff, and some of the words that we use in the military as a military professional, you have to put it in terms that the civilians can understand. So I'm going to take an example to see if I can do that. Here, first off the bat, let's see, Air Force Base at whatever, New York, and then it's at the squadron. That's cool. All this is okay. Okay, this right here, Information Assurance Officer, this is not what they call it on the outside. of the military. Inside the military, they still call it this. This is kind of antiquated word. If somebody is looking for your resume, more than likely they're going to be looking for the word information system security officer. Now you can change this, because even though and let's say you're on base and everybody called you IAO, or information assurance officer, or information assurance whatever, right? Or information security, I don't know what they call it these days. But these guys do the exact same job as an information system security officer. There's no difference. They do the exact same thing. So that's why I would go ahead and change that to information security officer, number 1, right off the jump. And then let's take some more words here. Functional system administrator, system cybersecurity liaison. So nobody on the outside knows what this is. This is a new term that the military is starting to use, cybersecurity. I'm sure some like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and some of those guys know what this word means, but most people don't. This should be enough, putting information system security officer in there. But if you also did system administrator, that's cool. This one right here, I don't know. I don't know how. Maybe ISO is enough to help you out with that one. All right, let's take one phrase here, one bullet statement. I like how he bulletized it, and let's translate it into civilian words. So he says, provided system support and technical training for 380 users. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's impact right away. So see how the military trains people to have that impact? They train people to just have a boom, punch you right in the mouth. This is really quite this is catchy right here, because this says this person knows how to teach. This person knows how to do technical training to the support staff, and they'll see that as a win right away. Managed a variety of systems and provided help desk support. Managed a variety of systems and provided. Okay, this is like an overview. Ensure past tense, systems and data integrity, conducted risk and vulnerability analysis, and under systems and blah blah blah. Okay, this is good stuff. I like this. It shows direct impact, but I'm looking for something we can change into that has that wording. It looks like he's already kind of gone through it, because I'm seeing some words that military don't use. Earned employee of the quarter. So military wouldn't use the employee. So I see he's already actually gone through it, which is good. This is actually not a bad resume. Played an integral role in played an integral role in efficiency update of 283 PCs, beating the Air Force directive by 90 days. Okay, let me play with this one. So the military is real big on like beating their last goal or whatever, but I want to make this have more of an impact. Number one, people don't really use PCs as keywords anymore. I know what he means, but we want to use a keyword like workstations is one. Desktop is another one. So we're going to say played an integral role in efficient update in the efficient update of 380 workstations, beating the Air Force directive by 90 days. Beating the Air Force directive by 90. That's fine. Just workstations, the only thing I changed there. Shows an impact, shows that they worked their butts off. Manage the base's largest IT program, validating 1,200 devices across 38 locations with 0 asset discrepancies. Okay, that's hard hitting. We need more technical words here. because this is sounding like a manager of sorts. So we want to show that he has hands-on experience with specific systems. And I'm trying to get something a little bit more specific. This is reading like an EPR or something. Like the EPR is like a report you get in the military that says all the things that you've done over X amount of time. Led rollout of remedy ticketing system, ensuring over 800 plus trouble tickets were tracked and accomplished with 100% oversight of process. This is good because he's mentioning remedy. IT program. This right here, I would be more specific on what this was, because without knowing what it is, I'm sure on that base, everybody knows what IT program is. But me, outside looking in, or a civilian, is not going to know the significance of the IT program. So I would explain what the IT program was. Explain what IT program is. You know what I mean? Like if it's a teaching program, you could say the manage the base's largest security awareness program, or IT training program, or if it's like just an asset management system, you guys specifically say what it does. That way they know when they're reading and they don't just see the IT program and not know like what that means. So that's what I would do with that one. Remedy ticketing. A lot of civilians use remedy, so that's good. So you get the idea. Like I'm being as specific as possible, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear through this and add. I'm just going to go through bullet by bullet and try to add something additional, keywords, things that's going to help him out, like things that are going to pop when he uploads this stuff into LinkedIn. And I think that's about it. That's all I had today, guys. Let me see if I have any questions. I think I had some questions. Bear with. Okay, there. Sorry about that. Trying to get these questions ready. Had some questions that came to me on email, and I have some questions here on the live. Somebody said, thank you. I enrolled into the entry-level cybersecurity course we'll be undertaking after my Security Plus. Good work. Good work. Would you mind sharing your contact information? I did that. And Kiko Rose asked about doing a practice project. So I'll definitely consider that. Not a bad idea. Have thought of doing that. And I'm trying to go through some of the questions that I've gotten. Oh, somebody sent me they got the Security Plus. Congrats. Let me see. Questions. And if you guys have any questions, happen to be watching, right, this is a great time to ask those questions while I'm on live. Any questions you have? Okay, here's one. So Ronnie asked me, said that they purchased the course and they wanted to know how to contact me. So yeah, if you want me to review your resume or you want some personal advice or anything like that, I don't have like a mentor program or anything like that just yet. But what I do is if somebody pays, I'll sit there and I'll answer questions or anything that you want. And here's my contact information. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Contact info kind of might be blurry against this. So there we go. That's my contact info. Best way to contact me. Let me see. There was another question. Comments, complaints. There was another one I wanted to answer here live. Okay, here we go. Michael asked me, says, Bruce, good morning. They've been trying to get in. They were already enrolled, and when they clicked on the POAM section, when they clicked on the poem section, it said it was already enrolled. Because here's some information for everybody. So if you go into this course right here, which is a paid course, but there's a free portion for this particular course. Once you enroll, you can actually see the free portions of the course. Let me see. There's a free preview. And so once you log in, you'll have access to, you'll be able to check and see the free previews. And let me see if the one he's talking about is here. The poem one. This right here, not this one. This one right here, I put all of these for free temporarily if you want to go through Poem. Really, it's just for Michael because Michael asked me a lot of questions about Poem, and I really want him to get it. So I made this portion of it free. So if you log in right now, you can go ahead and check that out. It's a walkthrough of how to do a plan of action milestone. I go in more in depth in each one of the security in these security families, and I'm going to add more security families, and I'm going to talk about poems and system security plan and how to write it, how to what's the theory behind it, what's some gotchas that you might want to pay attention to, stuff like that. So Michael, if you're watching this, it seems like there's some kind of a glitch because it's now free. Like you can now, if you're in there, you should be able to see this. So I would advise you to do is maybe unenroll in this particular one and then re-enroll and see if that clears it up. If not, just contact me directly. We'll get it fixed because you should be able to see that. All right, I think there was another question on email. Let me see. Yeah, I guess that was it. Kiko says, please start a mentor program. Yeah, I have to. I'd have to really have the time to do that. I have a full-time job, and I'm actually learning myself. Like I have a continued learning process where I'm getting in when I would really love to share this with you guys, but I have to get to a point where I'm very comfortable with it. This is something I'm doing right now, but it's cyber threat intelligence and integrated with cyber threat analysis, and it's a little bit more technical, and it gets into the certified ethical hacking stuff and all of that. So I'm actually on the back end, I'm doing that stuff and going deeper in it, and actually have clients and stuff that I work with to do that kind of stuff. So it's fun. I don't feel like I'm ready to teach it yet, but all of that training, the learning that I do myself takes some time. So that's why I have not done a mentor program yet. And maybe one of these days I would like to do something like it. But for now, don't have one. But that's it, guys. Thank you, Spades93. Thank you, Kiko Rose. Thank you, everybody else all you lurkers out there who are watching me. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to break this one into parts and reshare it so that it's focused on specific topics. And to everybody who's bought a course, you guys are supporting a Black-owned business. So it's really helped out me and my family a lot. I really appreciate everybody who has participated in this. And I'm doing something I enjoy doing. Like I like to teach. I like to talk about cybersecurity. It's something I really like to do, and to be paid to do that is really incredible. So thank you guys for the opportunity. Thank you for supporting a Black business. And we'll get through all of this, all these disasters. We'll get through it together. I'm super positive about the outcomes for the future. I'm positive after going on that march. I'm super happy to see the young people coming together. I know you look on the news and there's all this crazy stuff happening, but I really see hope for humanity going forward, long term. Right now it's dark. Right now it's winter time for us as a species, but I think eventually we'll get our stride, we'll get our rhythm, and maybe we'll work together and see how small and ridiculously irrelevant and stupid it is to hate each other because of a race.